Hey guys, so we're in Sophia, and this is DeAndre's mom.
The fire burning red in a Joshua representing if it comes hard here, you know. Big up Kidaki, Buxton massive. Hey Babylon boy, you going like in a like come son. Red.
Never joke, morning, 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 morning. You can keep your conniving morning. When you've been up for a bum, you have been tell me morning. Now because your money down, you come with conniving morning. When you had your pocket full, you have been tell me morning. Now because your money down, you hustle for tell me morning. Yes, morning, neighbor. Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, I don't want you conniving morning. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. That's all the money that me walk for. A 2 pound note and a kill that piece. A 2 pound note and a kill that piece. A 2 pound note and a kill that piece. This is all the money that me walk for. I said money, neighbor, money, neighbor, money, money, neighbor, money, money. I don't want you conniving money. Oh, Joseph.
Guyana and Guyanese, at home and abroad. Tune in to Guyanese Morning Time, hosted by Kadaki Amsterdam, where the sun always shines. Guyanese Morning Time, the people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. We rise up early morning watching Comes TV, where wisdom and knowledge, yes, it is the key. Exposing corruption over land and sea, where the wicked politician they try to trick me. Guyana is a land for everybody. With 6 races should live in harmony. Is one set of people getting aisle money. Is one set of people doing the thievery. Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. This is a program that you all can see, sharing your views and your integrity. Like it, comment and share it all around. Pass it to your neighbor, safe and sound. A sad situation going on in this town. The voice of the people is getting trampled down. Out of the mouths of babes and sucklings, which as ordained me to sing. I sing Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go and stop fooling the people. You're promoting evil. Stop lying to the people. You are a part of the cycle. Stop fooling people. You're promoting evil. Stop lying to the people. You are a part of the cycle. I say, Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese Morning Time. The people calling Guyanese Morning Time. Rhythm, Guyanese Morning Time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again. They got Breakford, Bork and Mark Benchcop. David Hines and Kadaki Amsterdam, Sherrod Duncan, Nigel London, Normal Brown and Gavin Matthews. Big up Paslow, Port People Governor, Simona Brooms, Robin Simpson, Hampton Green and Winston Jordan. And yes, we can go right On and on, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again, Guyanese morning time. The people calling Guyanese morning time. Rhythm, Guyanese morning time. Intelligence and knowledge run the front line. We go again.
The relatives and friends of young Wyndham Bacchus, they deserve justice. The family, the relatives and friends of our in Boston, they deserve justice. The family, the relatives and friends of Peter Headley, they deserve justice.
And so when we say that Guyana is an apartheid state, we have the evidence to show.
Comes audio son. You burn the swine when I want you shine. The tree of life, them I want you climb, cause them heart no kind. Comes I say them heart no kind. Buxton Massive, Kidaki, Red Hat.
Hey fans, it's karaoke and oldies night this and every Thursday at Club Twilight Sideline Dam, Buxton. Dance to the magical songs of yesteryear by popular DJs and Camps Audio. Admission is free. Come out, let's make memories at Club Twilight Sideline Dam, Buxton North.
The association of things and
Morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Morning, are you morning? Morning, are you morning? And welcome to another program. Welcome to another program of the Guyanese Morning Time. I am your host, the BUXTONIAN Kidaki Amsterdam. It is now 7 hours 27, and it's the 17th day of June in the year 2024. What have you been up to? How has the rain been treating you? How was it yesterday? How was your last night? How is your this morning? Right now, I know it's raining. It's raining. It's raining. They say right now the rain falling like when I want to cuss. Have you ever heard that term? If you heard that term before, tell me what it means. Rain or fall like when I want to cuss. Y'all tell me what that means. I'm waiting. We got a lot of things to talk about this morning, and we will certainly be talking those things. But how have you been? How was your last night? How was your weekend? I know for a fact it's a long weekend we're having here. Today is Monday, the weekend ain't done yet. Because we have a holiday today. I'm talking about a holiday, it's Eid. So Eid Mubarak. To my Muslim brothers and sisters, Eid Mubarak. Yes, is this the small Eid or the big Eid? I think this is the big Eid. This is the beef Eid, I wonder. But yes, Eid Mubarak to my Muslim brothers and sisters. I wish you the best. However you observe the Eid, whatever you have to do to observe the Eid, I wish you success in all of your endeavors. These observances always give us the opportunity to reflect on ourselves in keeping with our religious beliefs and ask ourselves whether or not we're doing good, whether or not we're being good disciples, good examples of what our religions represent. And so, on the observance of Eid, I hope that our Muslim brothers and sisters will reflect on what they espouse, they display, their way of life and so on, and ask themselves if it is in keeping with the Prophet, if it is in keeping with the teachings of the Quran. Let them ask themselves that. More especially, it is said that the president, your president, is a Muslim. I hope, I trust, I pray that today he's going to find some quiet time to sit in a corner and reflect on the teachings of the Quran and how, especially in relation to how you treat humanity, and ask whether or not he's on the right path, or whether or not he can do something to change the course on which he is. I'm not a Quranic scholar, but I heard a Muslim brother say the other day, it is the teachings of the Quran or the Prophet that wherever you see wrong, you must raise your hand to stop it. And if you can't raise your hand to stop it, you must at least sound your voice. And so this morning, I want us to ask ourselves, or ask your president, Irfan Ali, which part of the Quranic teachings he represents in his daily dealings with the affairs of this country. I want you to do that. Right? You see, the topic of this morning's program is rich country, poor people, no compassion. Rich country, poor people, no compassion. I've seen a number of videos over the weekend that, really caused me to come to that realization or be reminded that we're living in a sick society. We are living in a sick society. And the people who have the power, the authority, the opportunity, because it is indeed an opportunity. The people being given the opportunity to fix this sick society are making it sicker. Right? You go to a doctor and they give you a wrong medicine, as we like to say, wrong prescription, wrong diagnosis, wrong prescription. And so instead of the patient improves, the patient deteriorates. That is the society we're in. Leon Sadler, let's be real with that statement. He is not the president. Jagdeo is the president. The Constitution doesn't recognize Jagdeo as the president. The Constitution recognizes Ali as the president, despite what many of us think. The Constitution recognizes Ali as the president. And so Ali has the authority to be president. Ali has the authority to be president. And what is on display is weaknesses. He's a weakling. He is a weakling. What gives Ali the impression, or anybody as a matter of fact, the impression that Ali can't function as president, even independently of Jagdeo? What gives you the impression that Ali can't put Jagdeo to his place and say, hey, sit your miserable, ballad, tyrannic self down and let me lead? What gives you the impression? The Constitution backs you. The Constitution backs you. You got the armed forces at your disposal. If you feel threatened by Jagdeo, you know what to do. Jagdeo, in case you all didn't remember, I don't care who put him there, Janet. Janet Jagan put Jagdeo in power. Y'all remember that? And when he was withholding ads, or when the government was withholding ads from Kaicho News and Starbuck News, or let me say the media in general, as a form of punishment. And Janet gave her opinion. Jagdeo's response was, Janet Jagan is a private citizen. Janet Jagan is a private citizen. And therefore, she doesn't run the government. Are you saying to me, Irfan Ali can't make Jagdeo a private citizen? Are you saying to me that Ali doesn't have the legal authority to put Jagdeo in a corner? This is not a country where a political party recalls a president. It can't happen. And so once you're clothed with that presidential authority, I am telling you, you can do what needs to be done. You can do what needs to be done. Jagdeo is not the head of the armed forces. Irfan Ali is. Jagdeo is not the head of the government. Irfan Ali is. And in my mind, I always say, This country is the way it is because people with constitutional authority do not understand the authority they have. A Clifton Hickens, for example. The Constitution protects Clifton Hickens as Commissioner of Police. Omar Khan is, what do you call it? Chief of Staff of the Guyanese Defense Force. Godfrey Stacia as Commissioner of the Guyana Revenue Authority. The Constitution protects these people. They are constitutional officers. And so if they are constitutional officers and they're behaving like dimwits, like somebody got to pull their strings because they're puppets, then it simply means they don't understand or respect the powers that the Constitution confer on them. Don't tell me anything otherwise. It comes down to ethics. I said last week, we want ethical leaders. Because Mr. Jordan was explaining that a lot of things don't get fixed in this society. Because the society is small, income is small, and everybody can reach somebody to induce them. And I'm going to repeat, I don't care how income is small. If you have ethical people in office, if you have ethical people running this country, no amount of inducement is going to corrupt them. Because they will stand for what is right. I have a video I want to play. Let me find it for you. It was sent to me by WhatsApp. We are consistently giving people passes. It's Jack Gill's problem, it's not Ifanali. Ifanali has the authority to fix it.
The politics have to be honest.
Ifanali has the authority to fix the problem because he's the president. So y'all stop covering for people. Stop covering for people. Stop giving people free pass. Hold them responsible. Hold them accountable. Let them do what they were hired to do, because that is what we did, you know. They were hired by the vote. Make them perform.
Politics have to be honest. The people have to be clean and honest also. If you're not honest, if you're not clean, if you have a black mark, whether people know it or not, please stay out of politics. And so we need honest politicians, and we also need voters who can be honest.
This is the Prime Minister of Singapore. And you know where Singapore is in terms of development compared to Guyana, despite the fact I think the two of them are about age. As we said, they grow much, right? Listen to this. And listen to how systems work. I want you all to listen to that. I want you all to listen to how systems work. Systems that are intended to protect the nation's people and the nation's wealth. I want you to listen to this and think on it.
Politics have to be honest. The people have to be clean and honest also. If you're not honest, if you're not clean, if you have a black mark, whether people know it or not, please stay out of politics. And so we need honest politicians, and we also need voters who can tell the difference between people who are honest and people who are not. And I was very, very surprised yesterday that here on this spot yesterday to hear Dr. G. Sunduan say, reputation is temporary, but character is permanent. I agree. I think Dr. Chi has every reason to know that character is permanent, doesn't change. We cannot have corruption in Singapore. We cannot have wrongdoing in the government or in high places in Singapore. That's why we have the CPIB reporting to me as PM. And if I don't give approval to the CPIB to investigate somebody, the CPIB can go to the president and ask the president for approval. President says yes, CPIB can proceed against the PM. That's why we have the Auditor General's office to keep the government straight, to keep our statutory board straight, and once in a while to find out whether the town councils are straight or not straight. These are the PAP standards, and these also have to be the opposition standards. Just because you don't wear white doesn't mean you shouldn't be white or needn't be white. That's what is different about Singapore. I can show it to other people. Can they do it? Not so easy. That's what we must always keep precious in Singapore. So maybe that is why when Mr. Lee Kuan Yew had his 90th birthday, we had a little celebration in Parliament. And he was too weak to make a speech, but he came, he joined us in the members' room. We made a birthday cake, we sang a song, blew the candles, and he made a small speech. He talked about only one thing. He said, remember, keep our system clean. And I should note that that was not just PAP MPs having a celebration. That was all of the MPs having a celebration, including the opposition MPs. So the PAP MPs took note of what he said. I hope the opposition MPs also took note of what he said. Keep our system clean. You may be running the government. You may be running a ministry. You can be in a stat board. You can be in a town council. Doesn't matter. Whatever level you are, uphold high standards, keep it clean. And don't say, I didn't go to jail, I'm okay.
Right? Facts are there. Facts. All it takes is ethics, integrity. If you want us to become enemies, I always tell people, try to mess with my integrity. Try to besmirch my character. I will take you and make you an enemy. Because to me, my biggest thing is my character. You know, people saying, Jagdio install this one and Jagdio install that one and this one install that one and the other. What's the worst that can happen? Why is it they don't? I'm not saying Mark Phillips got spine. I'm not saying Mark Phillips got spine. I'm not saying Mark Phillips is a straw man. As a matter of fact, I think he's a straw man. But have you noticed that the PPP for the greater part doesn't swear Mark Phillips in as prime minister when Ali leaves this country? I wonder sometimes at the back of the mind, they are afraid of Mark Phillips to that extent that they wouldn't make him president. They think he's not going to give up. I don't care who makes me the leader of the armed forces. If you make me chief of staff, that is what I am. And because I've come through the ranks of the military, and I know the sufferings of the military, when I become chief of staff of the military, I should reflect on the sufferings of my comrades, in my brothers in arms, let me call it that, in the military. And so I should want to get better for them. That alone should make me want to be free of puppetry as leader of the military. And so the government must fair. The government must understand that if we're not treating citizens right, if we're not treating the members of the military right, the possibility is they will remove us like they did in Burkina Faso. So Jagyo making Ali president according to y'all. If Ali were an ethical man, if he had spine, then Jagyo would have to think twice about what is man going to do when I make him president. I dare anybody to make me president and think they could control me. I dare anybody to do that. Even the great US, y'all like say US like intervening in people's elections and so. I dare the US to make me president and think they will control me. I say it every day. If you're not willing to take a bullet for your people, don't lead them. Because that is what leadership is. Leadership is about sacrifice. All of you who are Christians will reflect on the sacrifices of Christ. The spiritual leader. At the end of it all, if I remember, he said, not my will, but thine will be done. If this is what it takes to redeem these people, then take my life. It's the ultimate sacrifice. And if you want to lead your people out of quote-unquote bondage, and you're not prepared to take a bullet for them, don't go to leadership, man. Because then you're going to be weak ass, and people are going to take advantage of you, and they're going to take advantage of your people. Look left, right, and center in this country and see if you see what I'm saying. See if you see what I'm saying. Look left, right, and center and see if you see what I'm saying. It's like you're father of a home, and everybody beating up on your children because they know you're a weakling. You're not come out and represent your children. You're not pick up a cutlass and put it in the hands of your children and say, chop off their hand. Any of them touch you, chop off their hand. I'm going to face the consequences to you. I'm going to back you. There are some families and communities, people don't go around them funny because they know. Sometimes the mother self gonna run out on them. The father gonna run out on you. Or the whole household. The children take leadership from their parents. And so if you got a weak ass father, hey, yaga. You got a weak ass father, trust me, for the most part, you got some weak ass children. Because a weak ass father will always try to appease the situation. Aren't we tired of appeasement? Aren't we? Why our citizens have to continue to go through these kind of things? And all we're doing is appeasing the situation. Because we're concerned that people are dead. We're concerned that if people stand up for the just causes, they're gonna dead. Sometimes I wonder if it is that we are concerned about them dying, or we are concerned about us dying, or we are concerned about us being incarcerated What are we really concerned about? I want to know. I'm trying to get another video to show you something. I'm showing you where this country is oil rich and compassion poor. I'm showing you where this man that sits in office as president, and you say he's Muslim, is supposed to be guided by the Quranic teachings, but apparently he got a sense of what he's supposed to be doing as a leader of the people. Yeah, look at these two videos that I'm going to show you now. I don't know if they're in order, but just look at them.
You see? All right.
Hello.
We get in the black coffee water.
By tomorrow, they put in a big pipe here.
Okay.
So I just want to tell you.
All right.
By tomorrow, it's big pipe.
Oh, yeah, gosh, it's true, so.
People, man, and they living good, they living happy, they're living nice. They're living happy and nice. Why they're doing that? Right now, my yard has water and it can't run out because they block up the culvert here. What nonsense they going on with, man? Tell me they put in pipe tomorrow, they put in the car before the horse. Say if rain fall tonight, I flood out fully because water is in the yard. No way for the water to run out because they block up the drainage. Come tell it back of my yard there, man. These people is advantage taker, man. These people are criminals. That's all I can say about them, man. Criminals. The Collins government, man. This is in my backyard here. Look all my sucker trees that I plant, coconut trees. Everybody they come and lick down, doing their own thing. Come till in my yard. Look at the back of my yard there. Look all my sucker trees lying down there. I was out, I now come home. These people taking too much advantage on people, man, and still living here. The government want the land, they gotta wait. They gotta wait, and they gotta compensate people properly. I said again, nobody, I'm not stopping development. But these people don't have no principle, they ain't got no principle, they ain't got no policy, they ain't got no structure, nothing. Because a project like this, I'm always saying it, we had no time to move out, we had no engagement with nobody in come to engage us, no legal document in come to you to tell you, listen, we would like earmarking this area here for the bridge, and y'all will have to remove, and we give y'all so much time, y'all be compensated for this extra. There's no structure. And everybody come to tell you a different story. Everybody that come to you from the government, everybody come with their own thing. You're going to get land, a deed of gift. You know, since when they take away me land, and then they tell me they give him back a land, a deed of gift. And then the land, he come, he said $3 million, we got to pay for the land. You take me land and give me back a land and say I got to buy it. $3 million. I was out, I now come home, look at me. Come to me, this in my yard of water. And all the things they live down. Is this fair? Is this fair? But I say again, God is looking on. God is looking on. God don't like ugly. God don't like ugly. This is the inside my mouth. In my mouth, they're inside my yard, looking at all my things. Them look what they done. Look what they have done. I was out. And this is what I came home to meet. If rain fall, I'm in trouble. Let down all the things them. Look at all my circle trees them down there. Coconut tree fall down. Where they leg down. That's why I come home and meet. This advantage government, man. Taking advantage on poor people all the time, all the time. You're just trying to survive in this hard economy. You're trying to survive in this hard economy because they're getting all the oil money and drinking it. They're drinking it out, nobody getting nothing. And then they're still coming and suffering you, man. Oh my God, I'm tired with them, man. But God knows what he's doing. God's going to remove all your old land. Old land.
You see? All right.
Hello.
Let me explain to you.
We get in the block up with water.
No. By tomorrow, they put in a big pipe here.
Okay.
So I just want to tell you.
All right.
Yeah, by tomorrow, it's big pipe.
All the trees.
Why not go out to tree and so?
Why, man? He's a Republican. He's a project man.
Yeah, they said they put a big pipe there like tomorrow.
But the fight before you do it, different part tonight to happen. Right now, I can't do what the time left. Hey, they're full of water. My washroom and my toilet is in the yard. My washroom, they're in the yard. Now I gotta wear long boots. Long boots to get to my washroom. These people are just evil, man.
The water, they don't come from the trench, because the water go from the pipe to the back there.
Even when people got a black on the drain, that's running out from my yard into the drain.
So the water can't run out.
So the water can't run out. We have children in the yard. I said them ready. These people doing so much of things here. That has caused the children to sick. Every minute I go to hospital with them. And the children always got the influenza. Always got a cold and feel from the dust for passing here from behind me, man.
And then go to find nobody started they pull up.
But it's only time. They don't come and tell nobody nothing what they do it. They just walk in and they lick down.
Lick down.
They come and do the hell what they want. But it's time. And God says enough, it's gonna be enough.
All they say is
I'm watching.
all they say is trust percent. Well, and it's trust percent.
The 10%.
Watch the man will run a pipe, but instead of run gas for rails, for the man shoot them. So you tell them that you run pipe for the land.
Some things that you go through when you don't have money.
Right. Just trust percent. Damn the place. Damn the property.
A lot of people know that this land is not me own and this house is not me own. So let them come and take it. All who know that it's not me own, let them come and take it. They know it's not me own and they send me to the PPP liar to sign up to take them little sweetie money and they know it's not me own. And they send me to liar just to tell you how insensitive they are. They send me to liar. And every time you go to the liar add another little bit more money. You don't get in this amount, you get in another one. And they put it on. So why? Oh, it's so insensitive. Tell me to know a liar, they're liars.
I come at 2-3 times.
They're associate liars. But God watching them. I tell them already. God is in control of this universe. This water belongs to them. All what they're fighting for, they won't.
Of course, you know Auntie Vashti by now. That's where she's suffering. That's what the people of that area, Petersall, that is what they are experiencing. And like she did ask, what if it rains? It did rain. I'm understanding that the entire area there is flooded out. It did rain. I was waiting for the video. I haven't seen it as yet, but it will eventually come. Maybe tomorrow I'll show it to you. It did rain. Now, you notice those on the little tractor, whatever you want to call it, telling her, we're going to put a pipe there tomorrow. Common sense can tell you that if you block the drain, it's rainy season, the water will rise. Why not put the pipe? Like she said, why you didn't put the pipe before you block it up? Because you don't care. You don't care. You have no compassion. You have no concern nor care for the people who would be affected by what you're doing. Because what? You cloak it in the name development. Like this idiot just said. And the last time I called it for what it is, I was told, don't call me names or I'm going to sue you. Well, you on my program, and I can call you names. And you could sue, or you could get off the program, up to you. This idiot, Miranda Brown. Auntie Vashti needs help. She's standing in the way of development. The people who can get Auntie Vashti out of the way of development, if you all claim she's standing in the way of development, are your friends, Miranda Brown, your colleagues, your cabinet colleagues, and PPP colleagues. Because all she's asking for is fair price for property. Just as how y'all could give 45 million or whatever the amount to some Indian man next door for some property that she considers less valuable than hers, y'all could give her what she's asking. It's a seller's market. This is a seller's market. I always tell people when it comes to real estate in this country and maybe any other country, it's a seller's market. Sellers get what they want. You either buy it or leave it. But y'all in power, y'all could advantage, y'all could bully people. And so she wore them black. She wore them black. So she is not deserving of what she values her property at. As a matter of fact, what a property valuator has valued her property at. She ain't deserving of it. So y'all want to throw peanuts at her and she must take it or go through all of this pain and suffering. Right? And then argue that, hey, really and truly, she ain't got no right fighting me over this issue, because this property is not in her name. The property is still in her parents' name. Where does the term next of kin come from? Where does the term inheritance come from? Where does the term ancestral property come from? If an Ali could say, when he end up buying or thieving or collecting or whatever you want to describe it, the estate property wherever he lived at Lenora and so on, where the pool house is bigger than other people's and all kind of thing, according to the descriptions. His inheritance from a grandfather that people know was dirt poor. Was dirt poor. What he say he inherit? Vashti can't inherit. Vashti didn't inherit. And so y'all ain't gotta respect her inheritance. The Don's president saying the property is not even in our name. The property is she inheritance. And again, if you all had a functional democracy and you all had agencies that function, transferring the property from her parents or dead parents to her might have been efficient so that it could have been in her name. But no. When all else fail, says now she property, she dead parents soon. There's no compassion in this country for a certain set of people. I didn't even know if they got compassion in this country for people. And so when the likes of Miranda Brown and them come and talk stupidness, it is just, as I like to say, it is just trick me. Because they are just as inhumane and brutal like the government they're supporting. I'm continuing to show you we live in a rich country, but we poor in compassion. We are very poor on compassion. Yeah, see, I stay screen. Your screen. Watch this. Before I even play the video, I want to tell you all something. I want to show you all something. And this is where the likes of Hickins should bury their head in shame. That's what they should do. Bury their head in shame. The person lying on the ground, as we say, castrated on the ground, is a member of the Guyanese police force. That's a member of the Guyanese police force in that black and khaki, or whatever you call it. There might be special branch, not special branch, special constabulary. They're members of the Guyanese police force. In which other country, I want y'all to tell me which country a member of the joint services, the armed forces, the military, whatever you describe them, the discipline services, would be treated like that at a public hospital. Tell me. Even in this country, I dare argue, it's highly unlikely you would find a member of the Guyanese Defense Force on the ground at the public hospital like that. Because the Guyanese Defense Force got its own medical unit and so on. The question is, does the Guyanese Police Force, the leadership of the Guyanese Police Force, take into consideration the welfare of its ranks, or they just concerned about them at the top there? The Hickins and the Butas and the Karambashkan diseases and them. Is that what they only concern themselves about? Because definitely what I'm seeing here, they don't have any care nor concern nor compassion for one of their own rank. Look how she's lying on the ground. And let me tell you something else too. All that people standing around that woman, from my understanding, are doctors. At least I see one of them with a piece of equipment in his hand. That looks like that thing that tests your blood pressure, whatever it is. They too ain't got care and compassion. They too don't have care and compassion. Because they are not doing what doctors should really be doing, trying to save lives, as far as I'm concerned. And we will address that because I got another video to show you about the lack of care and compassion in this country. We are rich, but we ain't got no compassion.
Hi, people. This is the things that you go through, the sad things that you go through when you don't have money in Guyana. Sad to say. I was at Jarchang Hospital this morning and I was asked to leave the hospital by a doctor. The doctor called 3 police officers and they asked me if I didn't delete this footage from my phone, I have to leave the hospital. I just felt that it was sad to see someone lying on the ground and without no assistant. Everyone was standing there. They said the doctors was a change of shift at the moment. You know, but I just asked him that whoever see this video, forward it and let reach the right authorities so that they could look into what's going on at Jarchang Hospital. Because it's sad. People dying every day, man.
Here's the story from Samantha. I can't find the video. I'm going to read it for you. Look at it on the screen there. Samantha Thomas is with Sheldon MacArthur Peters and 97 others. So much wickedness, hatred, and neglect in this country. It is scary. For the past few days, I've endured some of the ugliest attitudes from folks one would think are put in this system to help Guyanese. Imagine having a medical emergency and being pushed around at GPHC, only to be given Panadol for massive hemorrhaging, being sent to do an emergency ultrasound, only to be told to come back next month. Imagine it's emergency, only to be told to come back next month. I was so frustrated on the second day at that hospital. I went to a welfare officer who is attached to the A&E Accident and Emergency Department, and I begged in tears to get some help from my daughter-in-law, not knowing I was dealing with a wolf in sheep's clothing. She took the ultrasound request form from me and lied about handing it in. She refused to help us refused to help us. When, as a last resort, I begged her for a letter to seek assistance at the Ministry of Amerindian Affairs, her words was, quote, "The ministry will not help your daughter because her skin color is too dark and her hair texture is not Amerindian," end quote. I got so angry with this woman, I had to move from next to her fast. I begged and I begged some more. I finally got another request form from a kind doctor. Mind you, racism was hitting us all around. In the waiting area at A&E, the doctor, the clerk, I felt as though my daughter and I had 3 heads each, the way we were being ignored. I had to ask if an indigenous woman is not supposed to have a dark-skinned child. I cried, honestly, I cried out of frustration. I cried out of anger, and I cried out of helplessness. Even when I did go to the Ministry of Amerindian Affairs to seek assistance for my daughter-in-law, who was losing half unit of blood per day, 7 days of hemorrhaging as of June 6th, we got 0. In this country, if you don't have an emergency money, you don't have a chance. They will kill you with neglect. Demons in public offices, beware. Don't get sick. System of a dung. I'm not sure about that, what it means. This too shall pass. We're indigenous, Black Laconos. We will survive because we are strong. This is the people we're talking about. Those are the people we're talking about. Oil rich. I'm going to maintain it. Oil rich. Poor governance. Very poor governance. Very, very poor governance. And no compassion. There's another video I wish I could have shown you. I can't find it immediately. In the interest of time, I'll tell you about that. A woman suffering some kind of fit was taken to the Georgetown Hospital. Apparently, she was in a clinic. And her situation was getting worse, according to her mother telling the story. Dr. Duki, I think is the name she said, was responsible for the patient care and management and so on. And he said, "Here, we're going to admit this patient." But even when he said they're going to admit the patient, there were signs that the patient was getting worse. And every time she approached him, all he said, "We're going to admit this patient." The woman died at the Georgetown Hospital the same day. The woman died at the Georgetown Hospital the same day. I think I posted it to my page. I'm not sure, but I've seen it. And those of you who have seen it, any of you got a link, you could send it to me right now. But you know, Miranda Brown say we have to have public servants with integrity. Yes, we have to have public servants with integrity and ethics. But we have to have systems in place to hold public servants accountable if they don't have integrity and ethics. Just as we have to have systems in place to hold politicians accountable if they don't have integrity and ethics. Mankind is mankind. You could only see a man's face, you can't see his heart. The good book tells us above everything or beyond everything else, the heart of man is wicked. And so knowing that we got to put systems in place to deal with that wickedness when it arises. But how can a government that pays scant regards to the well-being of its professional workers and the public servants, as in the doctors and nurses and medical staff and clerks and so on around this country, public servants as a whole, and focusing on health right now, how can a government that pays scant regards to their well-being hold them accountable? Challenge them on integrity. The government itself doesn't have integrity. The government itself has no care nor compassion for its citizens. So how then, y'all ask me, what measuring stick will this government use to hold the professionals accountable? And let me explain what I'm saying. I don't know for a fact, but the possibility is Dr. Morning, neighbor. Morning. Good morning to you, my wonderful people. Good morning. Morning, are you morning? Welcome to another program of Guyanese Morning Time. How are you doing? It's 7 hours 20 on the 18th day of June in the year 2024. Good morning and welcome to another program of Guyanese Morning Time. I am your host, the BUXTONIAN, Kiraki Amsterdam. How are you doing? How are you make out yesterday? How was I last night? How are you feeling this morning? I woke up to blackout in a wee goodness. In the wee hours of the morning, somebody's at my gate. I don't understand this thing. I'll give me a minute or two or three or four. In the meantime, let me tell you all about Mark Ben Shop Consultancy. And let's play some drums here. Because we like drums. I'll be back like Arnold. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for the patience. I hope at the same time you were sharing a life. That is what you should have been doing. Find something to do. The idleness is the devil's workshop, or idle mind is the devil's workshop. So you should have been finding something to do with the time. Good. I hope you find something to do with the time. Share the life. That's what you can do. Share the life. Share the life. Well, last year I click share. Well, last year I invite somebody to look at the program. These are critical times. We are heading to an election. And so the farther and the wider we can get information to the people, is the better for the people. Good? So let's share, man. Let's share. Let's make this program go viral. Yes, I was asking, how was it yesterday? How you make out last night? How is it this morning? I woke up this morning to blackout. And so I want to ask those of you who are in the program, representing your perfect government, what's going on really? Can you all explain for us what is happening? The power boat was supposed to be the answer to all our electrical problems. right? The powerboat was supposed to be the answer to all our electrical problems. Why then are we still getting these frequent blackouts? I almost went to bed in blackout last night and I woke up in blackout this morning. Why? Something in Matson. The power empowering. You ever hear people say you put in new wine in old skin? What happens when you put new wine in old skin? I think the skin bursts. Because the pressure that the new wine generates becomes too much for the old skin. Because it's already stretched the capacity from the previous wine and so on. I'm not a wine specialist. I'm just thinking that is what happens. So when these people at GPL, I understand it's an El Nandlal family running GPL, some relative of his, allegedly a brother. When they were conceptualizing the powerboat as a relief measure, did they stop for a minute and ask themselves whether or not the line distribution system would be able to sustain or sustainably distribute the generated power? I did ask that question before, nobody answered. I'm asking it again. Because if the powerboat is efficient, because I trust this government, man, this government is brilliant. They take time to make decisions, and so I don't think they will go and hire an inefficient powerboat to pay so much money for electricity to reduce power cuts and power shortages in the country. No, they won't do that. So I'm sure the powerboat is efficient. And since the powerboat is efficient, my next bet is that the distribution system is not as efficient as the powerboat. Or is it we have some incompetent engineers? I don't know if the powerboat came with engineers to assist in managing the distribution. I didn't hear anything about that, and so I will assume that it is the same engineers who are responsible for GPL that are responsible for ensuring that the generated power from the powerboat gets distributed. Are they incompetent? Or is it that the network is a failure? But at the end of the day, I want to know why we are still getting the level of blackouts that we're getting. That's all I want to know. Why are we still getting the level of blackouts? And to think that the coalition government almost eliminated blackout, greatly reduced the hours of blackout in this country without hiring a powerboat and without access to our money. So what really is happening in this country? It's like the PPP got a Midas touch. You know what is the Midas touch? Well, when I was at school and I read about King Midas, everything King Midas touched turned to gold. Everything King Midas turned to gold. But my understanding is when Walter Rodney and the others were campaigning against Burnham, they named him King Midas, except that everything he touched turned to shit. The PPP has the Midas touch. Everything they touch in this country turns to shit. It becomes malfunctional, it becomes decrepit, it becomes corrupted, and you can make the list. The PPP is a government that has the Midas touch, and that is why people are saying, or they follow the PPP is the best government, they're doing the best again, because everything they touch turned into gold. Everything they touch turned into shit. I saw Karen Cummins making a statement that says that the allegations against the Georgetown Public Hospital for the mistreatment of patients, etc., poor services delivered, and so on, etc., should be investigated. And she was saying that from the standpoint that when Valder Lawrence, let me see that. The accountant was responsible for managing the Georgetown Hospital. The services were way better. They were above. They were way better than people are experiencing now when a medical doctor is managing the public hospital. Right? Good. I want you to keep those things in mind. Do you feel any bit hopeful? You think we're getting to a place where we're going to get better out of our governments, regardless of who form them? Or we just got to continue plodding on? We have to continue doing the work. You have to continue putting in the work, the elbow grease and so on, to get the best possible government for this country. That's what I want to ask you this morning. But I did say to you yesterday that I got some added information on the death of that young lady at the Georgetown Hospital. And we were going to talk more about it today. I did say that. Right? I did say that. And so, as promised, we're going to talk more about that in the course of the morning. But let me say to you, yesterday, a note slipped me. I got a note. Slipped me. When we were talking about the behavior of government, and Ali in particular, the president whose religious beliefs are in keeping with the Quran. What's that? Excuse me. The Muslim president. He's a Muslim. I got a note. I don't know if the individual wanted me to call a name, but you might eventually know where the note came from. I got a note that Irfan Ali, in the month of Ramadan, a few days before Ramadan ended, committed to meeting with Ipariji as the International Decade for People of African Descent Assembly Guyana, Ipariji, as soon as Ramadan was finished. So far, I think 4 attempts were made and it has not happened. And yesterday I talked about character. And so if you look at a man who makes a commitment in his quote-unquote holy month, the holy month of Ramadan, when he's honoring the teachings of his religion and the prophet and so on and so forth, makes a commitment in that month. Above all commitments, that commitment should be taken seriously. Anybody who gets that commitment in the month of Ramadan from a Muslim will feel in their heart, okay, this is genuine because this man is fasting and praying. He is pure. Or he's working for purification. He ain't gonna tell me no lie now. But many moons after, Irfan Ali is yet to meet with Ipariji. And of course, Irfan Ali's government continues to disrespect and disregard the existence of Ipariji because the subvention that was instituted by the Granger administration for Ipariji is still taken away by the PPP. It's still not being given to Ipariji. It's still being distributed to small, quote-unquote, African organizations with connections to the PPP, with claims that they are empowering African Guyanese organizations. Just want you to know, that's my role. I bring information to you. You can take it and do what you want with it. Good. You can take it and do what you want with it. Good. So let me go back. Let's talk. This young lady did say that she's going to. It's usually a busy time for her. When it comes to the morning hours, so it might be difficult for her to join us on the matter of the death of this young lady, DeAndre. But I want to pick up from where we left off yesterday and share with you a press release that came out of the Georgetown Hospital in response to the allegations made by the family, the relatives of the deceased. Right? Cast your eyes to the screen. As soon as I can find it, I'll let you have it. Yes. Cast your eyes to the screen. That's the press release there. I will read for you the press release. And we will talk about the press release. We will also play a video, I think, with the mother responding. Oh, the family also issued a press release. So we're going to talk about those two press releases. And we're going to interrogate this matter further. Good? So let's go. Georgetown Public Hospital addresses recent allegations of negligence and medical malpractice. The administration of the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, GPHC, has been made aware of a circulating video on social media levying accusations of negligence and medical malpractice against our institution. We take such allegations seriously and have conducted a thorough investigation into the matter to provide clarity and transparency to the public. After reviewing the facts surrounding the incident, we can confirm the following sequence of events. 20th of May 2024, the patient first presented at the neurosurgery clinic and met with our team of neurosurgeons headed by Dr. Amarnath Duki, head of department neurosurgery, GPHC. The patient was reviewed and several tests were requested. These tests were pending from a previous visit to a private institution. They were reordered and the urgency of the results were explained to the patient for surgical intervention at GPHC. The patient, who was considered neurologically stable, after physical examination was given medications and asked to return with the test results as soon as they were available. June 10th, 2024. The patient returned 21 days later for a follow-up visit, but was still unable to provide all the required test results. Additionally, it was discovered that the patient had not utilized the prescribed medication from the previous visit. Despite this, the patient was reminded that all test results were necessary before any surgical intervention could proceed in patients with diagnosis of this nature. During this visit, the patient complained of severe headaches and, as a precaution, was sent to the emergency room for immediate treatment. Subsequently, the patient experienced a seizure and was immediately attended to by both an emergency physician and the neurosurgery team. Regrettably, resuscitation attempts were unsuccessful and the patient was pronounced deceased at 15:10 in the emergency room. I have to take note. I want to know what time the patient made a complaint and what time they attended to her. And at what time did the patient die? Those are things any reasonable person would want to have answers to, right? The patient was pronounced deceased at 15:10 in the emergency room. Request for a letter to facilitate overseas treatment. A relative of the patient expressed interest in a letter from the administration of GPHC to facilitate the patient acquiring a US visa for overseas treatment. Given that the surgery could have been done at GPHC once the required test results were completed, the letter was not facilitated. Moreover, due to the patient's presumptive diagnosis, medical protocol would not have allowed for transport via commercial flights. Additionally, since the case was a suspected high-risk case, meticulous planning and preparation were needed to ensure a positive outcome, hence the need for thorough investigations of the patient's presenting condition. We wish to extend our deepest sympathies to the family of the deceased during this difficult time. However, we denounce the unverified statements made by individuals regarding the events at our facility. We urge the public to utilize the established help desk system to address any concerns or complaints before circulating unverified and defamatory statements. GPHC reaffirms its commitment to providing quality health care to all patients and will not tolerate baseless attacks on its reputation. Dated 13 June 2024. Let me point out two things to you quickly. Request for a letter to facilitate overseas treatment. In this paragraph, right? In this paragraph, it is said, since the case was suspected high risk. You realize that? Since the case was suspected high risk, they did not issue the letter because, number one, the person could not travel on a commercial flight, and they had to do all of the investigations and so on, because this case was suspected high risk. Versus in paragraph, in an earlier paragraph, let me tell you where it was. The patient was considered neurologically stable after physical examination, right? In this paragraph here, after reviewing the facts surrounding the events, we can confirm the following. That's a paragraph dated the 20th of May, 2024. In the paragraph dated the 20th of May, 2024, the final sentence there says the patient who was considered neurologically stable. So in that paragraph, they say this patient was neurologically stable. And then 2 paragraphs later, they say the patient was considered high risk. I am not a medical person, but I'm asking the question. Those of you who are doctors and medical professionals, can somebody be neurologically stable and yet considered high risk? I don't know. I'm asking that question. So those of you who are medical doctors or spin doctors, in this case, I think we got a spin doctor writing this press release, can explain to me, how can I be neurologically stable but yet high risk in this situation? I don't know. Good. We also read that the patient complained of a headache and other pains, and as a precaution, they were sent to the emergency room and attended to there by an emergency doctor and the neurosurgery team. Unfortunately, the patient could not be revived. You want me to read that back for you? My 2-bit common sense on Buxton background side is telling me that the patient was attended to when she had deteriorated to the extent that they had to try to revive her. That is what they said. It's not I say, that's my interpretation. Right? I didn't say it. I only interpreted it. Where is it? Here it is. During this visit, the patient complained of severe headaches, and as a precaution, emergency room for immediate treatment. Subsequently, the patient experienced a seizure and was immediately attended to by both an emergency physician and the neurosurgery team. As a matter of fact, I'm getting a different interpretation, You can get it. Regrettably, resuscitation efforts were unsuccessful and the patient was pronounced deceased. Hear me. This patient complained of severe headaches and was sent to the emergency room for immediate treatment. If I were to assume that the patient was treated immediately, having been sent there, and suffered a seizure subsequently, what is your conclusion? Was the patient overdosed? Did they overdose the patient? Because if the patient was sent, complained of headaches, and was sent to the emergency room, and was treated at the time when they were sent to the emergency room, and subsequently suffered seizures, again, I'm asking for medical doctors or spin doctors, any of y'all could answer me. Is it possible that the medication given to this individual was a catalyst for the seizure? Is it possible? And so if I interpret it that way, I see medical malpractice. If I interpret it the way where they left the patient unattended to the extent that she deteriorated to the extent that she started to suffer seizures and they had to try to resuscitate her and subsequently fail, I see that too as malpractice. So I don't know where it is the Georgetown Hospital is saying that these claims of malpractice are unjustified. I don't see it. But of course, as Mr. Amsterdam, he's an opposition activist. He's from Luxembourg. I say maybe he doesn't like the Georgetown Public Hospital administrator and the government and the doctors and so on. So you can read all kinds of things into it. I want a doctor that is full of integrity. As a matter of fact, let me not say that. I want an international, I would prefer an international or regional, as in CARICOM and them, investigation in this matter, so that we can get to the bottom of what really happened. Right? And as I'm running my mouth, good morning, Shaliza.
Hi, good morning, dear.
Thank you for joining us. I know you're making a big sacrifice. I hope you turn off this stove.
It's hot there burning, so we got to make this quick.
Right, good. So I was just sharing with my viewers the press release from the Georgetown Hospital that made all of these allegations of people making false allegations, basically, and I was analyzing it. But let me ask you quickly as a background, how long have you known DeAndre?
I've known DeAndre since she was 8 years old. So she's a child that basically, yes, I grew up, she grew up knowing me, we grew up knowing each other.
And when did you or the family become aware that she had some kind of issue, which we're now learning or learning that it might have been a tumor of the brain?
It was only in April of this year that she recognized she had a problem, because early on in the year, she was telling me that, she's having all these headaches and so on. And she was of the opinion that it's depression, and she was actually being counseled for depression. So it is only, I think it was the 3rd of April that she fell down at work and was rushed to the hospital. That is when it was recognized that she have a problem.
And so she was rushed to the hospital, and it was recognized that she had a problem. How did they arrive that she had a problem?
Well, when she went, because she's from over the river, she was taken to the West Dem. I can't remember the name of the hotel, but the one on the west side, yes. Right? So they recognized it was a problem that they could not. I think they required some tests and so on, of which the parents did. And then she was referred to Georgetown Hospital because, they said this is out of our capacity. So they did a referral for Georgetown Hospital.
And so they concluded from the results, the test results, etc., that this was
A tumor. So what before there was any confirmation, when they were referred to Georgetown Hospital, they said that they were given a date which was a month, like approximately a month after the referral letter came. So she had to wait like 1 month to get a date with Dr. Dookie. That's from April. I think she got a date with Dr. Dookie for Georgetown Hospital till in April, May, right?
well. As a matter of fact, if I can intervene here, according to Georgetown Hospital statement, the first presentation of the patient at Georgetown Hospital was the 20th of May.
Right. So that's correct. So that's correct. So she fell down on the April 3rd, right? She was taken to West Dem, and when they got a referral, it was still for the 20th of May. That's the date that they gave them to see Dr. Dookie, right? Now, in the meantime, the parent got very concerned, the family and so on were very concerned. So they said, you know what? We have to wait a whole month to find out what happened to this girl. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go private. I think they went to Woodlands or Mercy, one out of the two. I have to clarify which hospital they went to, but
Yeah, they went to private institution.
Right.
What happened at the private institution?
So when they went there, they saw Dr. Dookie, right? And a whole lot of tests was ordered. They did the test, and she was diagnosed with brain tumor. She
At
was
the private institution.
at the private
And so the
institution.
same Dr.
Dr. Dookie diagnosed her with brain tumor. Dr. Dookie also told them that it was urgent, that this surgery need to be done urgently because it's a rare case. He's never seen a case like that. He explained that normally if you have a tumor on the right side, it affects the left side, or if you have it on the left side, it affects the right side. But in DeAndre's case, whatever she had was on her right side, and it affected the right side. So he thought that it was an urgent and rare case. He's never seen it before, never dealt with it before. So he, then of which the family said, he said to them that it's an urgent case. He needs to operate almost immediately. All right. And of course, his fee was $5 million, of which the family, they pleaded with him to, do partial payments. And of course, he said, that can be done. I mean, we understand some policies of the doctor that can be done. They had to pay all the money one time. So, they said to him, listen, doc, we can't afford this one. I mean, they were going to get together money, go to the organizations, whatever they can get help and so on. But that would have taken some time. So that's hence why they asked for some time. However, he again referred them back to Georgetown Hospital. So what happened when they went back there now, they used the date they had given initially for May 20th to see him.
So, two things I'm hearing here. The same doctor that they couldn't see immediately at Georgetown Hospital, they were able to see immediately at the private institution.
Correct.
The
Correct.
same doctor was willing to do an immediate surgery for $5 million, right?
Correct. Yes.
Because they couldn't find the money, of course, they were referred to the public hospital, which is natural. Public hospital is supposed to be able to facilitate, right? So she saw him on the 20th of May. What happened? I'm recognizing here from the press release that since it's the same doctor who requested a certain number of tests done at the private institution, the same doctor is requesting that these same tests be redone.
Yes, all the tests were ordered redone. In addition to some additional tests, so they had to do back a MRI. I think the parents said it was about 6 or 8 tests that was reordered. However, they also not reordered, because initially when he saw her at the private institution, he did not ask her to do mammogram tests and pap smear tests. Of course, when they came across the Georgetown Hospital, those were some additional tests that was asked for. So by the time They were going around getting the test done. It took them another couple, about 2 weeks or more to get all the tests, because remember they did the test, but then they had to await the results and so on. Some of these results you don't get back right away. So in the meantime, of waiting and so on, they said the department that does the pap smear and the mammogram at Georgetown Hospital was under construction. So apparently they were not in service. So the mother had to move to a private institution now to get those tests done, of which she had to wait some time to get the test. But what they did, they went back to Dr. Duki and said, listen, Dr. Duki, these are the tests that we have now. We didn't get these two tests, but we're going to go to a private institution. We already went to a private institution. We got the test, but we have to await the results. So Dr. Duki said, fine. And he gave them a date now for surgery for another month down the line.
So,
right?
I was saying here, based on the press release said two things. In the first paragraph, they said she was neurologically stable.
Stable,
and in the
yeah.
paragraph, they said the request for the letter to facilitate overseas treatment wasn't granted because she was considered high risk.
Right. They contradicted themselves there, yes.
A month's waiting time.
Yes, they did contradict themselves in the press release, and that is one of the things that I question, because how could you say this girl was neurologically stable? Number one, you're saying that you don't have experience in whatever she was going through. It's a rare case. You've never seen that before. Then you say, you know what, she's okay. How can you ascertain that this person is okay when you don't know what's going on in the person's brain? You don't know what is happening because you clearly state you have never seen this before. So they contradicted themselves in that manner. And then you said neurologically stable. Then you say high risk. Now, if she's high risk, why delay an entire process for 3 months? You already diagnosed this girl at a private institution. You were ready to do surgery the next day if the money came. What made you think that this girl had a 3 months lifespan waiting? And the thing is that all right, so DeAndre was speaking perfectly. It is just that her right side was paralyzed, but she was talking, communicating. She didn't really, from the conversations that I and her had, she seemed stable in her brain function. But what happened the week before DeAndre died, she started getting blackouts and seizures and things like that. And they went back to Dr. Duki. They told Dr. Duki, this was happening and so on. So she started deteriorating. Her health started deteriorating the week before. And what I'm saying and what I'm putting out there is that seizures and all of this should have told Dr. Duki that the case is getting urgent, even if he didn't see it urgent at the time, because of the fact that she's getting seizures, blackouts, these headaches that, whatever painkiller they were giving her couldn't work and all of that. That should have said to you that, you know what, this case is getting urgent now, right? And this is what we were also told by other people in the profession, that these are signs that this case was getting urgent or she was stable. But then you can't say somebody who's getting constant blackouts and seizures that, they're stable. That should have tell him that, all right, this is urgent now.
Very well. So they said she went back to the neurosurgery department on this particular day, and she complained of headache. They referred her immediately to the emergency room for immediate treatment. Did she get immediate treatment when she went to the emergency room?
According to her mother, no. The mother said that she went into emergency room and she was getting seizures. And she said that they were there about an hour because the mother started getting frantic. because she saw the condition her daughter was in. She never saw her daughter with the seizures, her hand turning backwards, her eye rolling up. So the mother noticed these things about the daughter that was in a wheelchair. And she keep pleading with them. The mother said she went well, the mother got frantic. Of course, she was scared. She said she went 3 times to Dr. Duki office, knocking on the door. Dr. Duki, please help me. Something is not right. Something is wrong with my daughter. She had pleading with them. And so I asked the mother, I said, how long did this happen for? Without them, giving this girl any attention. And she said for about an hour it happened. According to the press release, they said that they immediately gave her some sort of injection. I
Yes.
think that it was a pain injection that they gave to her. So the mother was there frantically. So after several attempts, they told the mother that they didn't have any beds, they didn't have any porters, and things like that. And she said that and I'm relating what she said. She said that they put her daughter outside of the emergency on a bed to lay because, of course, she passed out several times, cut herself, passed out several times, and she was in the wheelchair. So they put her on a bed outside of the emergency, and they had the mother running back and forth. They told the mother, go to the back of the place for her to be admitted. She got to go collect some paper. When the mother went at the back, the people at the back said, hey, we can't give you the paper. The medical people got to come for the paper. So with a whole lot of run around in emergency. But at the time, they were there like an hour, over an hour, and she could not have been admitted, nor did Dr. Duki come and take a look at her. Dr. Duki passed while they were at the emergency, and the mother pleaded with Dr. Duki and said, Dr. Duki, my daughter, this is not my daughter. I've never seen my daughter like this. According to the mother, Dr. Duki did not even stop for a minute to look at the child, to do nothing. All he said, all right, we're going to admit her. Right? So the mother said within the back and the forth and the waiting, almost an hour after she noticed her daughter started blowing bubbles out of her mouth. And she was in seizure. And she said when she ran to the emergency again to the doctor and started crying and stuff like that, she said that is when they took the girl and took her in emergency and then tried to use the shotgun, because it more than obvious her heart had given out. So they tried to use in the shot, the thing that they shock you with.
Yeah, thing.
Yeah,
Yes.
right. To resuscitate her, but the mother is saying that her daughter had already died. Right? So the child, the girl died in emergency. She was there an hour and more than an hour and died right there at emergency when nobody, what they said in the press release, that, soon as she went to emergency, the doctors from the neurosurgeon department and the emergency doctors, they ran to her. That is a lie. That is a lie.
She was given an injection, and from my interpretation, she died after being given the injection.
No, but I wouldn't say, well, don't let us go to say, well, the injection killed her, because I think it was just a pain injection.
I didn't say that.
I want us to be clear, because I don't want, these people are already threatening lawsuits and whatever. So the thing is that I think that her case had become urgent, and the good doctor, Dr. Duki, should have known this in his 16 years of profession. You should have known that this is an urgent case. All right. So we're also putting forward there and putting out there that she was wrong diagnosed, because according to Google, Dr. Duki said we're Google neurosurgeons. So according to Google, right? The cysts, brain cysts, are treated differently in terms of medication. So had they known that this was a cyst, or had she been properly diagnosed, I think that Dr. Duki would have also prescribed things like antibiotics, because a cyst is like something we have on our skin, like an abscess.
Let me stop you. You're now talking about a cyst. We were talking about a tumor. Where is this talk of a cyst coming from now?
All right, so Dr. Duki would have diagnosed her with brain tumor. But the post-mortem said she died from a cerebral cyst. So from witnesses in the post-mortem, they said when her head was open for the autopsy, they said all this liquid just came spraying out of her head. So Dr. Duki is claiming that what he saw from the MRI is a tumor. And they're saying that it's difficult. They're saying it's difficult to ascertain the difference from the test between a cyst and a tumor, because they're saying the cyst is a sac filled with liquid, whereas the tumor is a growth of tissues on the brain. So they said what they saw was a mass. So it was hard for them to tell, if it was a tumor or it was a cyst. Which he's somewhat correct in that. He's somewhat correct in that. It's very hard, but I'm saying you're saying you're in this profession for 16 years. You're in this profession for 16 years. So it's hard for me to pick up what's a mass or what's a tumor and a cyst, because I don't know. I've not been a doctor. It's hard for me or the common man. But you're in the profession for 16 years.
I certainly appreciate that. For the benefit of viewers, I just asked Google, like we usually do, if a cyst and a tumor are the same thing. And it says, just like a cyst anywhere else in your body, a cyst in the brain is a sphere filled with fluid, much like a balloon filled with water. They may contain fluid, blood, tissue, pus, or tumor cells. Brain cysts are not truly brain tumors because they do not arise from the brain tissue itself. So the main difference is that, yes, it's a mass. It contains all kinds of things. It doesn't, and the difference between the cyst and the tumor is that the tumor is brain tissue and the cyst is not, right? So I think that's a little, but like you rightly said, one would expect if you were dealing with this situation, you should be able to recognize. So tell me this, I read somewhere that you were served a lawyer's letter.
No. I was not served. Some clerk came by. I'm not sure from where. She came by to my restaurant, and she attempted to give the letter to my staff, of which they had to sign for it. And they would have questioned her as to where she's from, what the letter was about. So she identified herself from a lawyer's office and said, it's a lawyer's letter for of course me. My staff, they refused to take it because they didn't know what the content of it was. They asked her to read it before they signed for it or whatever. She said that cannot be done. So and I think an attempt was made. I'm not sure from who. Because I don't really have any problem with anybody else. I mean, nobody don't show up to serve here. Most I do is cuss up and go on. But I think an attempt was made, but I wasn't served. But I know that someone was there today to serve me, according to my staff.
Okay, so you weren't served. What's the next steps, if you're aware?
Well, the next step is, I think the family are going to take legal actions. The family, they have a lot of evidence, they have a lot of recordings. So it's strange that, I think Dr. Duki, what they should do in the Georgetown Public Hospital, what they should do is watch what they're saying. Like I'm fairly giving them a warning. Watch what they're saying and watch the statements that they're putting out, because a lot of the visits were recorded by the parents and so on. So not only in the press release they contradict themselves, but they contradict themselves in many other things that statements that they would have made. And the family, they want to take legal action against Georgetown Public Hospital. Of course, they can't sue Dr. Duki. They got to sue the hospital. And that is the way forward for them. It is sad to say that this here for me is an eye opener. That's one. It shows clearly that our health system is weak. It shows clearly that a lot of people, because after I carried these stories, I have dozens of complaints about that, not just Dr. Duki, but other doctors at the Georgetown Public Hospital. There's a lot of complaints about the service. There's a lot of complaints about the waiting time. There's a lot of complaints about neglect. And what I've done to secure myself, I have we got about 25 influencers that we're working with, right? And all this information was sent to those 25 people because I don't want to disappear in the middle of the night or wake up dead, I should say. I don't want to wake up dead, right? So we have shared out all of these information, and at the right time, at the right time, we are going to come out with all these other complaints because we don't want it to seem like we're bashing government. This is not a political attack for me. This has nothing to do with politics for me. This is me demanding a better healthcare system for our people. I don't want to be a politician. I'm comfortable in the space that I'm at, and I want them to know that this is clearly just a jest to say we need better health care for our people. All right. So the next step, as you asked, the family, they intend to take legal actions because it is very clear that their daughter died of neglect and malpractices by Dr. Duki. And the strange thing is that, there's a lot of complaints about Dr. Duki, man. I don't understand. People apparently just sat by and took a lot of bullshit, and now everybody's coming out to complain. Now there's a whole lot of people speaking out, a lot of people coming out to complain about Dr. Duki and his services, So, he has a lot of defending to do. A lot of defending.
Thank you. Tell me, let me make a request. Send me those stories. I need them. I'd like to know what they are.
Sure.
I will promise not to publish them unless we have an agreement that they can be published.
Published, right. And another thing I wanna say is that we Guyanese people, we have a bad way of turning everything into a racial matter because some people message me and say, hey, yeah, they're killing all the black people and whatever. And I wanna state clearly that this problem at Georgetown Hospital is not a racial problem because I've seen it. If we have 100 complaints, about 70 of them are Indian people and 30 of them are Negro people. So it's not a racial issue, and I want to put this out there.
Let me correct you there. The ministry, the government is encouraging the disuse of that word Negro.
Okay, so
African Guyanese.
African Guyanese, all right, yeah. So African Guyanese, right? So I don't want people to think that this is a racial issue. I don't want people writing me, and I don't want people, trying to contact me to tell me that this is a racial issue. It's not a racial issue. It's a Guyanese people issue. All right. So I want to make that very clear, and I want to make this. I don't want people writing me about politics. I don't want opposition people reaching out to me. It's not politics for me. This is not politics. I'm not going to turn it into a political issue. I just want our people to have a better healthcare system, and that is the only thing that I'm going after.
Thank you. Finally, in closing, what are some of the recommendations you would like to make? What do you think could have been done differently at the Georgetown Hospital that might not have resulted in the death of this young lady?
I'm glad you asked that. I'm glad you asked that. Listen, my first problem is with the service and the policies of Georgetown Hospital is that if you're going to have doctors working at the public hospital and then they're also going to have, they're working private at other hospitals, for me, that's a clear conflict of interest. That is a clear.
Yes, I'm here with you.
Yeah, okay. So yes, I'm saying that's a clear conflict of interest. It's because a lot of the stories that we have been hearing is that, hey, if you got money, you got us. All right. And it's clear to show, because my reasoning here is that, listen, if you can do 10 surgeries a month, let's say you have it as a doctor in your capacity to do 10 surgeries a month, right? But you're being paid to do 8, or you're being paid to do 10, and then the other 5, you're not getting paid for it. But when I say you're not getting paid, you're not making the big bucks on it because it's Georgetown Hospital. More than obvious that the cases that you were being paid the big bucks for are the cases that you're going to take precedence over, right? Then that becomes a priority. Your priority is going to be held in the people that are paying you. So now the people that are not paying money, they're left on the back burners to do whenever, if ever, however. And that's a clear conflict of interest right there. And I think the Georgetown Public Hospital needs to have a policy of where their doctors don't have private practices in these private hospitals. Yeah, we understand these doctors want to make money privately, whatever, they can hold clinics, whatever, that's fine. But when you're going to have these major surgeons acting in a way where, your case at Georgetown Hospital is going to be put on hold because of the fact that you have a private practice and you have you have to do so much of surgeries at the private hospital that you're paid for, right? Then that becomes a clear conflict of interest. In addition to that, the Georgetown Public Hospital needs to have the proper test. I mean, they're poor people. You can't get an MRI done. You can't get a CT scan done. You can't get this done. Why are we not putting together, Guyana normally borrows money. Why can't we borrow money to facilitate these machines that are lacking at the Georgetown Hospital and the amount of time that you have to wait to get tests done, right? Why are we not doing that? From the little time I've been at this for like a week, we've got so much of people saying that, you know what, we don't mind contributing to a fund that helps buy these machines in the hospital. So, take pride. The government needs to take pride out of their face and let us help put a system in place that, the poor can benefit from, really and truly benefit from. Right? I'm a middle class person, a middle income person. And, if I gotta do 2 and 3 MRI, I would find it hard. I'm a businesswoman that, when business kick you in your butt, that you've got to hold all corners to survive. So I'm saying, number one, they have to deal with the conflict of interest of the doctors. Number two, they need to add the necessary machines to do the test at Georgetown Hospital so that people can get quicker results, right? Number three, if there is a backlog of cases at the Georgetown Hospital, I am suggesting that maybe what they can do is get together a team of specialists from all over the world that can come and help clear up this backlog. So they're not hiring doctors on a long-term basis. But what they're doing, they're getting up a team of people to help. There are people that complain to me that they've been waiting on surgery for months and years at the Georgetown Hospital, from people that had accidents, from people with cancer. They said they've been waiting months on top of months for surgery. So we want to know also from Georgetown Hospital, is there a problem? Is there a limitation? Is there, tell us what your problem is. Tell us why there seems to be a backlog of cases that nobody is talking about. All right. So with those couple things in place, I think that they can better the healthcare service. They would be able to better the healthcare service just with those couple things in place.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your time. I am sure that our viewers are much more enlightened as to this matter. Again, I want to thank you for your sacrifice. And you said you're a businesswoman. Could you tell us your business and where we can find you? It's the least we can do in appreciation.
All right, thank you. Well, I have a restaurant called The Other Wife. We have 2 locations. We're located at 12 Sandy Bob Street. That's in Kitty. And our other location is at 3 Public Road, Bagottstown. And of course, we are more 60% curries. We are basically one of the leading curry shops in Guyana. And yep. That's a restaurant. Other than that, my main profession is real estate. I'm a real estate agent. But other than that, thank you guys so much. Thank you for all the love shown by everyone. Thank you for the support. And let's band together and do something for us Guyanese people. We need that.
Thank you. Remember to send me those files. I'll need them.
Sure, no problem.
Have a great day, Shaliza. Thank you. And give my regards to the family. I understand that they also lost the father, the grandfather of the family at the same time.
Yes, 2 days after.
Also here at Tams TV. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, viewers. So you've heard, as we like to say, from the horse's mouth. You've heard from Shaliza herself, who's the one who broke this story to us about what has been happening over the Georgetown Hospital here. I am sure you've heard a lot of painful things, a whole lot of painful things, and it shows. Like I usually say, I'm not a lover of money, but I love what money can do. It shows that when you have access to financial capacity in this country, um, it might make the difference between life and death. Because I'm not sure cysts, as I read, should lead to death. I'm not sure it should lead to death with the proper diagnosis and intervention, timely intervention. I'm not sure that that young lady had to lose her life. I'm sure there are many other cases. Um, and so, yes, what we want in this society, this week may be my week for ethics. We need ethical professionals. We need ethical professionals. How is it your diagnosis suggests that you need to do an immediate surgery for $5 million, and so that $5 million could have been paid, then the surgery would have been done immediately within 24, 48, 72 hours. But then when the same patient comes to you, same doctor at the public institution, you say they can wait for 3 months. How ethical is that? Where is our humanity? I see the usual, they're out here to defend the government. Well, I have no time with that this morning. Um, Let them defend the government. As we like to say, cockroach eat out the conscience, right? The press statement, I will reiterate, the press statement has in itself contradicted itself. Good. I I don't know. If the press statement, again, we heard from the horse's mouth through that press statement, and if it is contradictory, then what can we conclude? The people at Georgia Hospital don't know what they're about? Are they too overworked that they're making mistakes? They're human beings. When you're too pressured, you make mistakes. Are we having a lot of mistakes that are turning out to be fatal over the Georgia Hospital? The lines are open. 6225933 is the number to call. Let's talk the thing. And remember, as my colleague says, it don't run on water, so I'm putting up the Cash App and the Zelle information. So those of you who have never contributed can contribute. And those of you who are generous enough to contribute a second, a third, or fourth time, please do. I am grateful for your contributions. Call a life.
Good morning, Kadaki. Good morning, Kadaki. Very good show. When I heard you first talk about this, I wanted to call it, but I did not get a chance to. Kadaki, Georgetown Public Hospital failed that young lady. And the doctor, oh my goodness, I know in his heart now, he is burning up. I know he feels a type of way because he did not do what he was supposed to do as a doctor. He should have come out kicking to that young lady. But as the lady just said, that she thinks they read the report wrong. Because if all that fluid going to expose on her, when he had gone in to do the surgery, what was going to be? That he probably would have been up with another problem right there and then. But Kadaki, let's just move away from all of this. I do not understand. You see, this is what I'm talking about. Being people, and I must say, we Guyanese people, we have to stop. When you go to a doctor, to see a doctor, and you feel a doctor has done you wrong, you have to come out and talk about this, because maybe this could have been avoided, because now you heard so much thing that this doctor was So which means they're reading the reports wrong. They're not reading it right. I have the CT scan and I have the MRI. And people need to be aware and stand up for what is going on in Ghana. A lot of people are going to sit down and bypass certain things because they're going to give you a too big money or something they want to give you for you to keep your mouth shut. But remember, what happens to you might happen to your neighbor next door or might happen to somebody. And if you have a conscience, you're going to feel a type of way to know that maybe if you talk about it, somebody's life could have been saved. People, this story here, listen to it and be aware of what is going on. Thank God for the woman that was there, and this has been going on a long time now. But people just sweep it under the rug and keep it to themselves. They not open up their mouth because I know for that CT scan and MRI I get, if it comes back to Guyana, that's another thing and for another time. These people, they're wicked, man. They need to go and upgrade the hospital, CT scan and MRI. You got to go outside and pay. Why should you go outside and pay? If that child had come to Kingston, as soon as you get off the plane, you just walk in at Kingston. Kingston don't ask you no questions. Why you come here? Why you think that you tell them I come for vacation and I got sick and that's it. Will you write in surgery, performing everything, whatever they see? That is terrible. If you get sick in Ghana, you're looking for the next plane to bring you all back because you know they're not looking for you. Not if you don't have the money. This is wicked and I don't know why we people condone into this nonsense that's going on in Ghana year come. 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. No, you have to open up your mouth, man. People dying just like that. Why should you die? You don't have to be a doctor or a lawyer. Once you realize certain things, you're getting a PNA. All you want to give the people that Canada. It's all about killing you all because you're not getting the right treatment for certain things. What the government needs to do is bring in all the people from all parts of the world and let people come in and train the doctors that are getting Guyana because they are killing us people out. They need to do something, and that's when they're going to stand up and say, well, thank God we have done this program and to get help. Come on, Tadati, I appreciate you and thank you very much to at least address this. And we Guyanese know, but we keep it without shut. What they're supposed to talking. Mental health. Every health in Guyana is down the drain. Because when they go to the doctor tell them something, it is wrong, it is not the right thing. The doctor telling them the right story. Because of what? Because we poor country, we ain't got nothing. Well, some of them left, they go to Trinidad, they go all other countries, and they get a treatment. They come home back and they sit down. So thank God they have them money, the family help them out. But when you continue to just procrastinate, no. So that is, thank you very much. Very, very much.
Thank you very much. Let's get open. Calling live, good morning.
We all know that. In 1985, I had a problem. I had my x-ray done. The then specialist looked at it and said everything was okay. That was in April. In June of the same year, working the night duty, the sister noticed, he said, Randy, you're looking good, you know. I would cough, I would whoop, and I had shortness of breath. Anyway, she said, Randy, you got to do an x-ray. So I said, sister, I had an x-ray done in April. And you cannot be opening up your body to radiation. Anyway, I said, check the X-ray department, which they did. When they took the X-ray back to the doctor, when they made the spot, sister on the gate, what you look? She said, wow, doctor, look what's going on here. But the doctor was accustomed to just picking up the X-ray, blam, look and see cavities. But I had pleurisy. That was a water covering my lung and didn't pick it up right away. Anyway, I did the other X-ray. When I went to the X-ray department on the 25th of June, was a Saturday, that 1985. 2 nights ago, the technician said, doctor could look after you and got a problem. I got worried. Anyway, we did the X-ray. Soon as the X-ray was done, she sent me to a senior doctor. He was a surgeon. He was in charge of the hospital. When he looked at it, he said, hey, nurse, you got to carry this back to the cold specialist. Run up. So when I go, the doctor came with me, and I was outside, and they talking. They forget it's a nurse. So the 2 doctors, the specialists, the 2 specialists, one the general surgeon, the other one the specialist, said, ma, what happened here? Oh, you could miss this? He said, and this didn't happen now because the other X-ray thing. Anyway, when they finished now, we came out. He said, Rhonda, I'm so sorry, but you have to come into hospital. So I started to cry. I said, Doctor, what? He said, you got to come in. Anyway, I went to the hospital the Monday. Go the Monday, the Tuesday, both doctors came to my bedside, and they said they would have done a tapping. Now they tried to explain to me that the general surgeon explained, say, see, they say this is a fluid will cover over your entire right lung. So they said they're going to do a tapping, and from the tapping, they're going to see what they could do, they could drain it. Anyway, they decided not to drain this fluid. I was subsequently placed into the TB ward from the June until September 5th, 1985, going through rigid TB treatment every day, 1 gram of streptomycin and the other TB drugs. Then I was being said this dismissed from the hospital, and I came home to do the follow-up treatment, consuming over 21 TB tablets from the 6th of September until the 18th of February the next year. Remember, I'm a member of staff. I went through that. When NIS was to pay me for an industrial accident, none was being paid. Because
Rhonda. Rhonda.
So,
Rhonda.
in this country, your health, yes, Kadaki.
Run the show, man. Go ahead. Run the show.
Yeah. You're in this country, when you go to the hospital, things like that do happen. But in this girl's case, the doctor should have done, you got computers. There wasn't computer time. You got computers. So you can call people. This same lady who is talking should have been there, and the doctor should have explained everything. But she claimed that the doctor works in the private. Now let me tell you something, Kadaki. I run in the program. When I was a nurse, many of these same type of people, mainly the Indian people, when they came to the hospital to see the patient, are we going to meet the Dr. Lynn? You see, when they go and meet the doctor, in those times they would come with an envelope and they would give the doctor a couple thousands. Well, that was in the days of thousands. And they have trained the doctors wrong. So after they start to give, now in this cost of living, the cost of living is so high. So the money moves from thousands to millions. Who have started the doctors on that thing? They would come. When the patient ready for get discharged, a bird don't bring the get well card for the nurse. But a low bed fetching the get well card for the doctor, or it was heavily laden with money. So they have created monsters that they cannot live with. And in the case of the girl, went to how it thing. When you certain diseases, when you do get it, when it does that, outward presentation that it now come out to let us see that this body is sick. It may be well established, and doctors should be truthful, and people should be there to listen to hear the truth from the doctors. They must tell the people, tell the relatives, this is a 50-50 chance, or this is a 90-10 chance, and prepare the relatives for whatever may happen. But if you give the relatives a thing that you could do it, and then you don't do it, this is the rip-rap that is happening now. Bye-bye.
Thank you. The lines remain open. On the screen there, you see a press release from the relatives family of the deceased. Call your life.
Good morning, Mr. Amsterdam. Good morning, everyone in Guyanese diaspora. Good morning, Guyanese. I want to say at the outset that Valda Lawrence, as the Minister of Health, I did see a change. I did change, and because we got to give credit where credit is due. Because I remember in 2013 when I walked into the maternity ward at public hospitals, I saw the entire ward. You know how big that ward is? There were 2 mothers to a cot, not a bed, a cot. At least 100 women, 2 to a cot, with 2 freshly born babies on that cot. That's 2013 under Ramatar, the PPP. The only women, which were few, who had a single cot for themselves were mothers with C-sections. Can you imagine in 2013, 2 women to a cot with 2 freshly born babies, 4 people to a cot that's made for a single person? And that's the mentality. Jack Deere was already governor at the World Bank at this point. We already had the CCJ. We were a modern society at this point. What does it say about the mentality of government that we have today? The same people are at government today. You have people, and this is happening at the Kanchi Mad House too, It's unimaginable suffering happening in Guyana. And we are now beginning to scratch the surface. I want to applaud that East Indian woman that just came on the show, or that Guyanese woman that just came on the show as a guest. She seemed to have a good grasp. Very articulate woman, understands the issues. She analyzed the problem and gave solutions. She identified the point that there is a conflict of interest, arguably, and there have been a lot of people who come from foreign countries, doctors, and are moonlighting, preferably in the private hospitals, and they've barely got time to go to the public hospitals. If you want a CAT scan, you got to run around Georgetown, and eventually they send you to Mercy Hospital. When you get to Mercy Hospital, the CAT scan broken. You got wood ants living at the top over the bed in Linden Hospital, Quarantine Hospital. I've seen people, patients on a bed. Have you ever stood and see a patient die in the public hospital? And the nurses just walking back and forth, and the man just... And by the time I reach the front gate, the man dead. This is frequent occurrences. And they got the audacity to pass a law where they're selling organs. All this is interrelated. Organs have been sold. So if somebody did your blood test and know you got good organs or you got a good blood type, you might get knocked down by a car. You might get shot. People say, but this man ain't do nothing. How he died? They want you to go into the morgue to get the organs that the labs already told them you got good organs. And off goes your organs. You ain't did nothing. Nobody knows how you died. Really? Why you died? You got knocked down. You got killed. You died in the hospital. All of these things need to be looked into. So you've got politicians. As soon as they sick, where did Chetty Jagan go? Chetty Jagan died in a Walter Reed military hospital in Washington, D.C. At least Granger had enough sense to run to Cuba.
Where did Jack Dio go for diarrhea?
Good question. I don't got the information on that one, but I'm pretty sure someone's got, but I get the point.
Jack had a private aircraft and fly out.
Exactly. That's the point, Mr. Kadaki. Thank you for helping me make that point further. Where does Fidel Castro go for medical help?
In Cuba.
In Cuba. Right there in Cuba. And that's the point. Right there in Cuba. Where did President Granger go for medical help? Where did Jagan go for medical help? He went to a military hospital. Do we wonder why he died there? And I'm not wishing death upon him, but do we question why he ended up dead there? It's a military hospital. I know the hospital on Georgia Avenue, Washington, D.C. Right? So, we have got issues that we really need to, and the East Indian woman, your panelist, your guest, made a suggestion. And I'm glad you asked her for solutions, Mr. Amsterdam. Because when you talk problems, you got to talk solutions. And she recommended what we've all been asking for at some point, but I'm glad she's on the show. We need to have a consortium and address this issue. My heart goes out to the people at Kanji Mad House. Because I know the untold barbarism that's going on in there. I just know. And when the palms as well. And in America, ill treatment happened in America in these old folks' homes. I can just tell you. Kanji Mad House needs to be looked into. And in the prisons in Guyana, Mr. Kadaki just passed through. I've been locked up in Guyana. Let me tell you a quick story about systems in Guyana, very briefly, because this is all about the insensitivities of those in parliament, PNC and PPP included. Because like a caller called out previously, this stuff has been going on for decades. I was in the lockups, and there was an East Indian boy who was stealing cows, very briefly. And he said, oh, Sergeant, Uncle, me eat for 2 days now. And the sergeant came in that cell. Dark, pitch black, there's no windows in the cell. Right? About 40 of us in there. And he took out a Cat-9 killer and started lashing in the dark. He had the duck drop to the floor, feces all over the ground, dry cool seed, toilet overflowing. I myself got hit accidentally. He beat that boy for simply asking him for food. Because if you ain't got nobody bringing you food, right, you're going to remain hunger until your 72 hours pass or somebody feed you. So when food coming for somebody else, everybody eating out of that one food. Right? And he beat that boy. Then after a while, another police felt sorry for the people in there, and he brought in an old iron drum, a steel band drum, a rusty drum that he just feed pig with. Push it in and say, you eat out of that. They want to tell you, that's Guyana. And about 1, 2, 3, 4 steps away is a toilet overflowing with dry cooked feed.
Wrap up coffee.
Okay, this is Guyana. This is Guyana. Make no mistakes about it. Once again, thank you for accepting the call.
Thank you for your call. Allow me for stitching a voice notes. I see a couple of them. Okay, this is not related to today's topic. I'll deal with that maybe Thursday. You're tuned to the Guyanese Morning Time. I am your host, Kiraki Amsterdam. Here's a voice note.
Hey Kidaki, good day. Good day
to all your listeners and all your viewers. Kidaki, I'm telling you, listening to your program this morning, it gives me chills. It gives me chills. It makes me so angry. You know why? Because I'm listening to this woman explaining how the person died and what they died from, and Dr. Duki, and she's saying it's not a racial thing and whatever. Well, I'm saying it's racial. You understand? It's racial. And I just want Dr. Duki to know that this woman's blood is on his hand, right? This woman's blood is on his hands because they offer to make partial payment, Dr. Duki, and you prefer to let her die than to take that partial payment. These people plead with you. How you people sleep at nights, demons, it's all about money for you people, right? This woman's blood is on your hand. You see what the PPP government is doing to our country? You see what the PPP government is doing to our country, my brother? My people, Afro-Guyanese especially, at a large extent, please. Please take your health serious. See what's going on in this country. Please take your health seriously. If you don't have money and you get King Guyana, you'll die. This is a plain example. Dr. Duki could have simply take that payment, save that woman's life. And guess what? Based on your explanation, Kidaki, that was a tumor. That was a cyst, another tumor, which I think would be easier to operate on. Unbelievable. Look what the PPP government is doing to Guyana people, and you all still think these people worthwhile of being there? Huh? And then the opposition, like they were all bought and sold by the foreign investors, they're as quiet as ever. Please, my people, take care of your own health. This is serious. When the PPP government done with Guyana, we wouldn't even be human in that country. We wouldn't be human. Thanks for taking the time. Thanks for taking the time, my brother. Thank you. Have a blessed day.
Kidaki, morning. Listeners and viewers of this program. It seemed like I got passed some money to the village hall for let they cut the do away with the dense forest with the bees or the got there. I gonna pass some money and give them. Cause everything is money. You gotta pass money at the doctor, money here, money there, and I gonna pass some money. Cause that is why it gonna come down to. Nobody ain't get time with you. That's like how they left the human for there. It's just so you ain't get no time. Whether you're paying taxes or you're paying taxes, nobody get time with you. So I gonna pass some money too. Forget them trees squad on.
Call it life.
Yes. Good morning to you and all my African brothers and sisters in Guyana. You know, let me start this saying, you get two words bound together, good and bad. And Flash Garden is the bad one. But Flash Garden know who died for me. Christ died for me. I always love to do this. Look, listen, learn, and then talk. Where was this young lady?
Flash Gordon. Flash Gordon. Flash Gordon. Flash Gordon. I don't want anybody whatsoever to come on this program and attack this young lady for the information she has presented. I'm entertaining it.
This is not attack, it's facts.
Flash Gordon, are you going to address the issue or the young lady?
Okay, good. We went through this set 22 years. Nobody never come and talk about the punishment. We went through 22 years.
So nobody must come now and talk about it.
No, I say nobody was.
Man, listen.
You see, this is our problem in Guyana. We black people, we don't see things daytime and waiting night time for look. We naive. Facts is facts. Facts is facts, Mr. Amsterdam. If you air everybody out, out of Flash Garden Gaffer said too. This is not a fact. This is not something new. This is not something new. We get it carried away.
Flash Garden. Flash.
So listen to me. Listen. When them y'all come out and say that she get raped, everybody jump and represent she. What she did afterward, she don't want coalition come and represent she. And here's the word. Here's the word. Mr. Minister, I apologize. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for your call. Let me tell you all this. You know, sometimes we criticize the defenders of the PPP when they come and they talk nonsense. This they haven't seen so ever long. Like Anil Nandlal, people were being called Negroes over 100 years. And so it shouldn't change. It shouldn't change. People are suffering in silence all the time. So are we saying that people, regardless of ethnicity, regardless of political allegiance or what, they shouldn't talk about it anymore? We cannot live, we cannot conduct our business in that manner. What we want, at least what I'm striving for, is to get Guyanese to be more vocal about these issues. I don't care who talk about them. I don't care if they were silent yesterday. Because by talking about them, we're ventilating them, and we are making people aware of the shortcomings of this government. Call your life.
Morning, Kadaki. People got to be very careful. This girl could be a catalyst for others to come out and open up, and we cannot deter that. Anyhow, I could talk from my experience. I lost a son, my very first child at the age of 3 weeks, 3 days old. I lost him because of negligence at the hospital. Dr. Sinclair in the Amsterdam hospital. My son woke up in his lungs, he still had fluid like what Ronda was talking about. And you heard as though he was clapping until you clapping coming out from this child's back. Took him to the Amsterdam hospital. The doctor had no clue how to put that tube down his throat. Ironically, he had to wait on two nurses, Nurse April and Nurse August. It's just ironic that they got the names of a bunch. Those two guys came hours after, was able to insert that tube when he was in the operating theater, but he subsequently died because of negligence. If you have a child, to those who are trying to defend this government, only when you feel it, then you know it. I know it until today. I'm so emotional about it. Every time his birthday comes around, I cannot hang around nice. And to Dr. Dookie, I got a friend who Dr. Dookie was treating home there, and yes, because the guy didn't have money. Right? The guy subsequently came over here on vacation. He fell sick, bleeding through his nose. Took him to Jackson Memorial, and immediately they operated on him without actually pull that tumor out of the boy's head. And I could send that boy to him. He's home, he's back home. They didn't ask anything about his status or anything. You saw it was an emergency, you saw it was a tumor. Dr. Dookie was treating his boy and saying, look, this thing is reducing. Hells no, it wasn't. And that boy today, he's alive. If he was in Guyana, he would have been gone. And again, to people, stop. This woman could be a catalyst for more to open. Stop seeing racism just for humanity. She's defending a black girl's family. I think it's a black girl. She's defending. Right? The life of a black girl and for others to come regardless of race. That's my take.
Thank you. Listen. I got my ways. I tell you all the time. I just call Jack. I give Jackie. I talk for her and I talk for son. Right? Do we want people to publicize these issues or don't we? Or only some persons can publicize these issues? What are we about? This platform here is an equal opportunity platform. Tell anybody I see that. The only people who really are not welcome here might be the PPP because they don't make sense. They control the whole state media and private media. So they really don't need this platform. Why do you want to attack the messenger? Look at the message. I don't care if an Indo, Chinese, Portuguese. I don't care what kind of Guyanese come here to discuss an issue of national importance. I will discuss it with them. And y'all got to learn, man. Y'all got to learn. Not only people looking like you and looking like me could represent our interest and the national interest. No. We all can. We all have a right to. We all are Guyanese. It's 5 to 9. 6225933 is the number to call. Call your life. 6225933 is the number. Call your life. Good morning.
Hi. Hello?
Caller, you need to turn down or off the device in your background and focus on the call, please.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Kadaki.
Good morning to you.
Well, I'm a Buckman calling on behalf of what's going on at Skelton Hospital. We speak about Johnson Hospital. Skelton Hospital is in a terrible state. A woman loses her life because the doctor said she's too old for them to do surgery. This one was 71 years old. Went into the hospital just because she hit her head. Took 2 days before you do a CAT scan. They don't have a CAT scan machine at Skella. She had to pay private to go and get a CAT scan done. Came back, said she's going to live for 21 days. They refused to do any surgery. So it's not Joshua Hospital alone. Thank you.
Thank you for your call. I looked at the movie years ago. I'm trying to remember the name of the movie. I really am trying to remember the name of the movie. I saw it years ago. It was about a doctor. The movie was about, let me say, a super doctor. And the what at heart might have been medical malpractice. And the question was asked of the doctor when he was on the stand. You telling people how long they got to live and so on and so forth. Are you God? Say yes. As a doctor, I'm God. I can determine if you live or die. Or something to the extent. Many of our professionals, medical and otherwise, once they think they got your fate, FATE, in their hands, they behave like they're gods. They behave like they're gods. And that usually leads to their undoing. When people recognize that you're so dependent on them, they become callous. They've lost humanity. And I'm saying again, this week is my week of ethical talk. A lot of the abuse citizens take in this country because we have a government that the officers, the representatives of government have no ethics. They have no morality. And so they can't hold anybody to a higher standard. This is a clear case of the dangers of what the government is doing to the citizens of this country. A professional, a specialist, that's the word I want to use, a specialist in the healthcare department or a specialist healthcare professional has to work several jobs. At the public hospital, God knows how much he's paid, maybe $300,000 or $400,000. But at a private hospital, he can tell you $5 million for a surgery. Because, of course, there's a cost attached to using the private facilities, and then he gets his fee. Where one surgery at the private hospital might cover a month or 2 or 3 months of his salary at the public hospital. Until we have a government that is ethical, a government that respects people's speciality, a government that is prepared to give people value for their labor and education, we're going to continue to have these problems. So let's not attack the messengers. Let's attack the government so that they can fix this ship that is sinking. Call your life.
Good morning, my blessed wonderful brother. Good morning to Guyana. Good morning to the world. When I listen to these callers, it grew my skin because I had that experience, my brother. Nobody can tell me about that. I was there in it. I felt it. So I already hear these people is talking about this system is really, really bad, my brother. I talk it from experience. Mr. Kodaki, it's the first time I ever sick in my life. I tell everybody, and when I pass through there, I could imagine persons who passed through was the way I passed through, I could tell about it. So I don't even want to talk about it because it's been tears to my eyes, my brother. You don't believe me. No, but I don't want nobody telling me, it's why I passed through. I was there, went in it, I felt it. But God is so good to me that I came out of it. I'm not 100%, but I'm fighting. Okay? So when I hear persons calling and commenting about what happened and some people might I don't know anything, I just laugh in my heart, If I have to explain to you, I'm not going to laugh at them, but is that I shot, I was there, I went in it, I felt it. It was very much painful. Even though it was a pain, the system was very, very, very bad, brother. Very, very bad. Very bad. So I just called to give my little input into it and to understand that all the system of the city that is up to standard and up to date. No government official, but I'm saying don't go to Jackson Hospital, They either jump on a plane, or they go to Balancing, or they go to Woodlands. Why they go to Jackson Hospital now? If they claim that they're the best medical care to get in the country, go there. And let the same doctors and nurses behave in the way they behave to a normal patient, to them, they don't know exactly how people feel. You understand what I'm saying, my brother? But when they're sick, they're going Balancing, and who pay for the bills? Me and you pay for the bills, right? But when you go to Balancing, you better push your hand in your pocket, my brother. Or they jump on a plane and go to where they gone and get the treatment. But they got a special doctors come by them and treat them what the case would be. Kudos to them, but then they got to remember that we are human in the eyes of God. The only difference about it is that your position. But in the eyes of God, we are one. Human being. God created human being. God didn't create difference in human. God created human being. But we differentiated because of society scorned. I respect your program, and I'm trusting that the Almighty continue to bless you, Mr. Kadaki, and all the talk show hosts, the persons who've been fair and just in decision making, and we understand what you're passing through, we understand everything we're going on. But Guyanese gotta understand that this country belongs to us because we born and away. If you go to Barbados, Trinidad, America, England, Canada, Australia, I just come to you, and then they put the turn back the country where you're born. And we as Guyanese, we got to start representing ourselves as Guyanese. And if we don't do that, at the end of the day, can't eat with it. And I'm saying this to a lot of people, Mr. Kadaki. The next 15 years in this country, Guyana, Guyana, if we be careful, we become 8 class citizens in your own country. I'm saying this to people, look at it. You left your country, go to Barbados and work to survive. And a man from Barbados coming here living happy as ever. And Sheila come and live as happy as ever in your country. And you can't go live in your country happy like you come and live happy in your country, And they get the better benefits than you in your own country where you born and grow. It's a sad situation, a sad state. The doctors don't know who going on with them because everybody looking for money and them to that. And if them guys see fit that they're going to survive, you can't vex with them. Even though it's wrong what I'm saying, the system set like that. Is that you get money there? You see the hospitals with the building by the place? Them put some public hospital just now. So you better believe that if you get money, it's dead. Because when you see the hospital land of this country, you know what to do? The public dead.
Call a wrap up, please.
Brother, have a blessed rest of the day. God bless you.
Thank you for your call. You know, there's a term I'm trying to remember. But modern healthcare, call it modern loosely, healthcare is of such that the professionals make decisions as to who lives and who dies. In some instances, by age. The older man, the 72-year-old man who goes to, let's say, the emergency for attention, versus a 40-year-old man who goes to emergency for attention. In many instances, based on how the healthcare professionals operate, now that 72-year-old will be left for last. Because in the eyes of these brilliant people, the younger man has more to offer society if he stays alive than the 72-year-old has to offer society, because he has already lived his years. And so when you go to a medical facility and a doctor or a nurse tells you that we are not going to operate on this man because he's too old or this woman is too old, that is what informs that decision. The value of life, let me call it that, the value of life. What value does this person bring to society alive? And that is what informs their decision. There's a term that is used to describe that rationale. I can't remember it right now, but that's the meat of the matter. They will receive care in these times based on how you're perceived. Likewise, let me say a white-collar worker goes to the hospital for medical care versus a bandit that was shot. Look at the difference in treatment and you're going to understand what I'm saying. Right? These are choices people make. They behave like God. But as old people say, every man for himself, God for us all. We as a people, we have to be for each other. We have to be for each other. I relish the day, I pray for the day when Guyanese will start to speak as Guyanese. Right? You know, everybody is referring to Shaliza as the Indian woman. The woman, she's human. The woman, she really doesn't need an adjective to describe her. Right? The woman. The Guyanese, because that is what she is first and foremost. Woman, then Guyanese. Good. Sometimes, like I say, we have to look at the message and see past all the other fringes. Voice note.
Kadaki, good morning. Let's go back to GPL because I heard you mention about them this morning, your morning program. No, I've been receiving my light bill, right, for a while, where the energy charges per kilowatt was $39.10, right? That was up to April. I received my May bill about a week ago, and the energy charge is gone to $43.43. Is it there's an increase unknown to people? I would really like to know that.
It's a good question to ask, especially given the fact that I heard a representative of the government say that they are not going to increase the electricity charges. As a matter of fact, I think they went to Parliament for 66 million, or is it $66 billion to GPL, because GPL did not budget for the rising cost for fuel. And the clearing government doesn't want to increase the charges on customers of GPL, clients of GPL. And so they are going to go for a supplementary budget. But here, a customer is saying that she has noticed an increase in her energy charges or something to the extent, which is usually a fixed charge. So somebody needs to ask the tyrant on Thursday, whether or not there is a low-down increase going to customers of GPL, despite the promise that there will be no increase, but rather they will go to a supplementary budget for GPL. And that's the kind of vigilance that we need. That is how you hold governments accountable, right? So congratulations and thank you for your vigilance, young lady. Keep on being vigilant. It's 9 minutes past the 9 o'clock hour. I have to go. I encourage you to drop something in the Cash App. There's no name I can call this morning for anybody who has contributed to the Cash App. Thank you, nevertheless. Continue to share the program so that others are aware of what's happening. Tomorrow morning, we should have Dr. Hines on, and I will keep you informed. We're going to continue to discuss these issues, and we're going to continue to, even if we are not succeeding, as some people would want to think, in holding government accountable, we will continue to call for government to be accountable. Right? Yes, we must continue to call for the government to be accountable. Eventually, somebody might hear us. Yesterday, I said that I've seen changes by addressing the government through Miranda on these programs. And as we say, Kidaki, what are you talking about? What kind of change you see? I'm the kind of person who likes to, I believe in the song, count your blessings one by one, and it feels surprising what the Lord has done. I've seen changes by addressing the government on this program daily. One of the biggest changes that they are ready to run me down to shut me up because they know that I'm impactful. That's a big change. They don't have the likes of Ravi Dev and so on discussing me. That's a big change. But let me talk about the change to the people. I've seen the government run to Buxton to address BUXTONIAN issues because we've been discussing them consistently on CAMS TV. I've seen them run to other African Guyanese villages, maybe not in a timely manner, but they have gone to address the issues. And so we have to count our blessings. We have to claim our victories. Otherwise, we think that we're just running around with we like a hamster. And that's not the case. We are doing work. We are doing serious work here. And they're impacting the government, I can tell you that. You think it's happenstance that so many people internationally are turning their eyes to Guyana? And what's happening here? The wickedness of this government? No, sir, no, ma'am. It's not the case. We can't necessarily tell you all that is happening from our activism, but we can assure you that things are happening through our activism. And I'll leave it there for now. Right there, I will leave it. Have a great day. Much love. Like I say, even when the program has ended, please share it. Because there are lots of people who need to hear. Lots of people need to hear. I want to encourage you also to go across the TikTok and like my profile, follow my profile, because I want us to be able to broadcast on TikTok. I think TikTok, you need to get 1,000 followers to broadcast on TikTok live like this. I think I'm currently at 560, 590 or so. So please go and like my TikTok, follow my TikTok page so that we can get to that 1,000 mark to open up the possibility of live broadcasts so that we can meet more people. Good. Much love. Stay good. See you tomorrow morning. Have a good one. Bye-bye.